to the Nexus for our SmackDown review. We are reviewing the 4th of October's 2019 Friday Night SmackDown. It was like the premiere episode. It went off with a bang, and it didn't disappoint. This is possibly the best SmackDown of the year, maybe even longer. It was jam-packed. It was so good. There were some downers, there were some ups, there were some downs, but the whole show was awesome, off the chain. Awesome, loved it. I also know that I'm wearing an old SmackDown t-shirt. I'm going to have to order another one. I will order another one. But anyway, thank you for coming on and looking and staying with us, hopefully. There is my Twitter handle. So if you want to come on the show to discuss Raw, SmackDown, the pay-per-views, anything like that, if you want to appear with me on camera and we can discuss it, you can do. Just send me a DM through Twitter or through Facebook or YouTube, anywhere where we are. So let's dive in. Obviously, a show kicked off with The Rock, and I've got to say, The Rock has not missed a beat. We had The Rock, Becky Lynch, and obviously King Corbin. Yeah, but The Rock has not missed a beat. There was a lot of discussion whether The Rock would actually appear, and he gave us the People's Elbow and the Rock Bottom on Corbin. It was electric. It was electric. It was great to see him back. The crowd popped. It was just, it was awesome. It was nice to see him. Like I said, he's not missed a step. He nailed it every time. And it just shows you that he's not forgetting. Also, as well, it was interesting as well, because he said that he'd finally come home and he'd finally come back. So could we be seeing The Rock in the future? Even though it wasn't that long ago that he turned around and said that he had retired from wrestling. And here we are talking about The Rock doing a Rock Bottom, People's Elbow, with the help from Becky Lynch as well. And it was just such a good start to the show. It got the crowd pumped. It got us all excited. I've also got to say, the Raw set, the SmackDown set, is great. It's gone back to the original SmackDown set where it had the sort of the bigger ovals going, like smaller going back. This is a sort of the same sort of design. I often wonder whether or not people would be not be able to see it because they sort of protrude out slightly, but it looked like a cool set, and it's cool that they've got the two different now, that there's a distinction between the Raw and the SmackDown sets instead of having the same old thing. Obviously there's a reason why they kept it the same, but it was so cool. It was just it looked really good. It looked really crisp. I didn't catch the kickoff show, and there was some stuff that was on the kickoff show to do with the 24/7 title, which apparently the DJ Marshmallow won. How random. So yeah, we had a big promo in the ring with King Corbin, The Rock, and Becky Lynch. It was really good. The Rock, like I said, not missed a beat. It was so good. And then we obviously kicked off with our first match, which was Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Nice to see them all back together again. Sort of going ahead face to face. Becky Lynch and Charlotte were the winners. They proved it. Charlotte done a figure of 8, which was perfectly executed. Now that going in, obviously Becky Lynch and Charlotte now going into Hell in a Cell look strong. So we'll see how, because the titles are on different people, if you know what I mean. So we'll see how that goes. Sasha Banks Bayley came out again. But the thing there's one gripe I have, and that is with Bayley. She's still got this high beat energy music with the flailing tube mans, and she sort of comes out the high fives and all that sort of stuff. And they've trying to turn her into a heel. It doesn't work doing that. And also the crowd didn't know what to do neither. That's the only gripe I got on that bit. But yeah, I think Bayley's music needs to change. If they're going to have her as a heel, they need to change her music and the way she comes out. Sasha Banks definitely is a heel, and it works for her. But with Bayley, I'm not quite getting it, and because I think the way they've built her as this sort of babyface, it's just, it doesn't really work. I'm struggling to believe Bayley's a heel, if you know what I mean. But that's the only gripe from that. And the match was really good, and it obviously builds going into Hell in a Cell, which is ironically this Sunday, and we've only got 4 matches planned. So, and I thought that we would get some more matches in the build-up for this, but we actually, what we seem to get is more matches build to Crown Jewel. So yeah. Then we had Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. And just before the match, obviously, the Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt, come on, talks about Hell in a Cell. It was really cool. You can tell it was new to Fox, and they were reaching out to new audiences because they'd done an introduction on all of his little puppets. So if you've never watched SmackDown before or WWE, it introduced you to each character, which was kind of good. It kind of meant that, you know, someone who's not seen wrestling or WWE or SmackDown before and watching Fox, they would get to know who his characters are in the show, sort of thing. And they went through them all, and then he said Hell in a Cell. Then obviously it all goes back to normal. We have it looked like a fairly decent match between Shinsuke and Seth, and then obviously halfway through, the lights go out. We get the Fiend. Seth Rollins run back to the ramp, and the Fiend gets him, and obviously setting up for Hell in a Cell. Then we get Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, ladder match termination clause thing. Once again, really good. Kevin Owens come off. There was a little bit in it where it cut to commercial break and we missed a bit, and they didn't really show that what happened during the commercial break. But the match itself was really, really good. It started off a bit slow, but it really kicked up a gear. We had West Coast pop into the ladder on Kevin Owens. We had Kevin Owens 5-star frog splashing Shane through a ladder. For me, Shane looked very tired and a little bit out of shape, maybe. But it was sort of, you know, if you were watching wrestling, you know, it was, you sort of gathered that was going to happen, that Shane was going to leave. They've already turned around and said that they're going to have a less of an authority figure going forward on the shows and concentrate more on like the SmackDown, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we had that. Like I said, it was a solid match. It was really good. Obviously, Kevin Owens won. He got to say "you're fired" to Shane, and then a stunner, and then we go to commercial break. So that was cool. Then we had a mixed, or not a mixed. Well, I think it was a what was it? It was 8-man tag team match. That was it. Got to remember, I just watched it. 8-man tag team match. So we had Braun Strowman, Heavy Machinery, and The Miz versus obviously the Raw tag team champions Ziggler, Bobby Roode, and we also had AJ Styles and Randy Orton. None of them got an entrance. The only entrance we saw was Braun Strowman. Sitting at ringside is obviously Tyson Fury. Obviously, being in the UK, we all know who Tyson Fury is. Undefeated boxing champion, Gypsy King, all that sort of stuff. He was at ringside. He was sort of questioned later on in the. He was sort of brought up earlier on in the show, but at this point it was coming on. It sort of, the match started off okay, then it sort of broke down. Then we get the twirly motion from Braun Strowman goes around. Then he sort of looks at Tyson Fury, and there's a sort of a standoff between them. That was okay, and then obviously he then threw, I think it was Dolph Ziggler, into Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury sort of backed off. I was like, what are you doing? Braun Strowman gets in the ring with a quick win after this, with I think it's a 12-to-1 body slam. I think that's what it is. And quick cover, 1, 2, 3. Then he looks down and Tyson Fury sort of like, and then all of a sudden he jumps the guardrail, and hundreds, I mean like 20, 30 people come rushing over, grabbing him and pulling him back. So obviously setting up an angle. He's been given, it's been reported on WWE.com that he's been given an open mic for him to appear on Raw this week. Obviously, we'll be doing a review on that. Obviously, if you want to come and join me and discuss Raw, you can do. Send me a message here on YouTube or DM me here at our Twitter handle just here. You can do that. You can come on. We can discuss it. I'll send you all the links so we can all get involved and we can all appear on camera and stuff like that. It'd be so cool. I'd love to do all this sort of stuff. But yeah, sort of setting up an angle. Now, that was quite good. But is Tyson Fury the face or the heel? We obviously know Braun Strowman's a face, a good guy. So that's going to be very interesting going forward. Then we have the Roman Reigns, Eric Rowan lumberjack match. 20 stars around the ring. It's a good 1-2 thing. It's obviously we had Daniel Bryan on commentary. He's really good on the mic, Daniel Bryan. When you're listening to him on the commentary, he's really good. Maybe a future job there as a commentator. But yeah, he was there doing commentary. Yeah, we got a bit of a Roman Reigns got a bit of a beatdown from a few of the stars. Then they sort of fought outside the ring. We had Rowan then taking on everyone. And then Luke Harper obviously ran down, started taking on everyone. There was a brilliant move from Roman, a suicide dive over the top rope onto everyone. Then we had obviously Luke Harper come down. There was a bit of to and fro. Then we had Daniel Bryan come from the commentary team to take out Luke Harper. Roman Reigns, Superman punch for the win. Roman Reigns wins, looking strong going forward. Then we have Daniel Bryan in the ring offering his hand to Roman, who sort of not too sure, takes a long time to then obviously shake his hand back. So that's what we get. We also get a segment which was on the YouTube WWE, which was where we saw Marshmallow accidentally pin Carmella for the 24/7 title. I believe it's changed hands again now, but they never showed that, and that's all on like their Facebook and YouTube channel. So if you want to catch up with that going forward. Now, the next match is for the WWE Championship. Yeah, this is where certain gripes come up, I think. So we've got WWE title on the line. Obviously, Kofi is the WWE champion. Yeah, he's going up against Brock Lesnar, who we see absolutely destroy Rey Mysterio, and his son Dominic, shall I say? Yeah, so we get this sort of matchup, which has just come out of the blue. Did you just turn up and go, "Oh, I'm fighting Kofi for the title," and no one said a dicky bird? It was really bizarre. It was like, oh, okay, you know, Randy Orton's here and and AJ and all these sort of people, but no, we'll give Brock Lesnar, a guy who's not really there, who just turned up and goes, "Yeah, I'm having a WWE title match." So we had this. Kofi comes down, obviously last. Lesnar's in the ring. Kofi comes down. Kofi jumps. Lesnar grabs him, F5s him, pins him 1, 2, 3 in the ring. I was like, "What is that? It? What have we just seen?" So you're telling me the 6-month title reign of Kofi Kingston ends like that? For me, that's a bit of kick in the balls. That is a kick in the balls for me. Kofi Kingston was a good champion, and there are other people on the brand that deserve a title shot. over Brock Lesnar. I know there's obviously decisions going about, but also as well, my concern is I hope Brock now has a full-time schedule. Now there was reports of him having a full-time schedule going forward, and I hope that's true. I hope we do see him now every week or I'd like to see him every week. He is the WWE champion now. You know, my wife and daughter watching it, and they said, "What? But we'll never see him now. We'll never see him." I hope we do. I hope we get a proper storyline out of Brock Lesnar. Once again, that I think they've built him as this unstoppable force who can just destroy anyone. No one can really stop him. But that wasn't over. That wasn't the end of the night. And then Rey Mysterio's music hits. And you think, okay, Rey Mysterio's coming down. Maybe he's going to challenge Lesnar for the belt. And beside him is Cain Velasquez. Now, if you don't know who Cain Velasquez is, UFC. Okay, so Brock Lesnar was the UFC champion and was beaten by knockout in the first round by Cain Velasquez. Technical knockout, I do believe it was. So he's the one who beat Brock Lesnar in UFC for the UFC heavyweight title. So does this mean that Velasquez is now part of WWE? Or are they going to face for the title? There's been reports coming out that it's building for Crown Jewel. I've still got to remind you, there is Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this Sunday. And the matches we have for Hell in a Cell is the Hell in a Cell match between The Fiend and Slayer. Oh, what's the matter with me today? So yeah, and then we've got the Hell in a Cell match between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, and then we've got a match between Charlotte and Bayley for the title, and we've also got Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan taking on the Bludgeon Brothers, obviously Eric and Luke Harper. But that's it. That's the 4 matches are announced. Obviously, I would imagine that we'll see a intercontinental match for the with Shinsuke, and most probably a US title match as well. But with who, I'm not entirely sure. I would imagine there'll be some other matches on there, but I really thought that they were going to build towards Hell in a Cell, and they built towards Crown Jewel instead. So it'd be interesting to see what happens at Hell in a Cell. Obviously, they're probably going to announce more matches on their Facebook and on their website. So make sure you keep an eye on that, because that's obviously what happened. But overall, SmackDown was awesome. Really, really good. It built really well. There were some really good matches. Now all they've got to do is keep that momentum and just keep it going. You know, the problem I think they might have is trying to keep building, because that's what they need to do. So they need to keep building now. But yeah, Brock Lesnar is now your WWE champion, and Cain Velasquez looks like he's a WWE star now. So how does everyone feel about that? How does everyone see it? I mean, like I said, Raw was brilliant. Raw was okay. I think out of the two of them, Raw and SmackDown won it for me, just because it seemed like it was there. Next Friday is obviously the start of the WWE draft. So who's going where, who's going to end up where, and what now? So we don't really know with that, but that's what's going forward, obviously. With that, obviously you can jump on the chat here, and that I'm going to end the chat in just a second. That was my review of the 4th of October 2019 Friday Night SmackDown. Our next WWE podcast is on Monday at 3 p.m. Time might change a little bit. If you'd like to come on the show, if you'd like to be here talking to me with a picture and everything, and like to discuss or anything like that, then just send us a DM. I'll send you all the links to it. Also, just obviously talk as well down the bottom. Send us messages, whatever. I will respond to all of them. I'd love to hear from other people and what other people thought of the show. I loved SmackDown. Like I said, it was the better show out of the two, out of Raw and SmackDown. It was much more better. Really, really good. Building as well on not only Hell in a Cell, but mainly Crown Jewel, it seemed. And Brock Lesnar is now your WWE champion. We should see what's going forward with this. We should see how Brock Lesnar's booked going forward, and Cain Velasquez. It's always worth noting that he obviously stepped in the ring. I want to just point this out. He had a brace on his knee, and he looked like he had difficulty walking. And it's not it's unusual for WWE to book something like that. If he's injured, it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, I'm going to be back on Monday at 3 p.m. to discuss Hell in a Cell, which is live on the WWE Network app, or you can go onto Sky and order it as a pay-per-view on them. But I'll be watching it on the network. I'm just going to leave it there now. SmackDown was brilliant. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If you want to join in, just remember Twitter, comment, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you on Monday. Bye.